Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Adidas Rose 1.5 Restomod. So what is Restomod? It's kind of like Adidas's version of Protro. So as you guys all know, the Kobe Protro series is taking Kobe's old models and improving upon the tech and kind of retroing it, but it's like a performance retro, and that's what Restomod is for Adidas, and that's what they did with the Rose 1.5. I know a lot of people love this shoe. I actually have not played in the shoe. I always wanted it, you know, as you guys all know, like the design here in the heel, this is iconic. I love the way this shoe looks. But unfortunately, I have not played it in like the retro version. And basically the only thing that they changed in the Restomod from the original, I believe, is the cushion, right? And the original used like Adiprene. In this shoe, the Restomod, they're using a LIGHTSTRIKE midsole, which of course is probably an improvement. You know, I like LIGHTSTRIKE a lot more than Adiprene. So anyways, this shoe is pretty damn expensive. It's 150 bucks. If you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. There's full sizes available on adidas.com in this colorway, of course. So again, affiliate links are in the description box below, but let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. So this is a pure motion outsole, and it says pure motion right here. We got 3 pods. So we got one where I guess your big toe is, and then we got one here where the ball of your foot is, and we got one here on the lateral side. And then here in the heel, we got 3 stripes and then kind of like a circle pattern that circles out on itself. So the traction right now, just testing it out on my wood floors, it doesn't seem very good, and also it's a very quiet traction right now. There's no squeak at all on my wood floors, so that kind of sucks. I mean, the squeakiness of an outsole doesn't determine like the actual performance of the outsole, but for me personally, I like to have a squeaky outsole. I feel like a lot of people like squeaky outsoles as well. But anyways, yeah, there's no squeak and the bite doesn't seem that good, unfortunately, right? As far as the durability goes though, the durability seems like it's gonna be very good. You know, the rubber is super hard, but where like these pods are, the grooves don't look that deep. So I don't know, I feel like it'll be okay for outdoor use, right? Like I said, hard rubber, but the grooves seem a little bit shallower than normal. So I feel like it'll be okay for durability. All right, moving on to the heel to toe transition. It feels like it's gonna be pretty damn smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice curved shape and it's pretty exposed. I mean, look at how thin that midsole is. It's so thin, but it's not caged really at all, so that's a good thing, and it feels pretty smooth here in the heel. And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape and we have a lot of forefoot flex. Look at that, it's super flexible, which is pretty interesting just because it has the sprint frame, right? And the sprint frame you guys can see from the bottom of the shoe here in the midfoot, and pretty much connects to this heel counter, and it kind of comes around here into the bottom of the shoe, and I guess it stops in the midfoot. I thought it went all the way to the forefoot, you know, and I thought it was gonna be pretty stiff here in the forefoot, but I guess not. But yeah, sprint frame is still there from the original Rose 1.5, and the heel to toe transition feels like it's gonna be pretty damn smooth. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So the cushioning setup, there's a little bit of compression here in the heel. Like I said, it's pretty much fully exposed, but like I said, it's so damn thin. So court feel is extremely good, like you're right on the ground, which I like, I guess, but I don't know how good the impact protection is gonna be. I am a little bit worried, especially here in the forefoot. Like it feels really low to the ground, so I feel like on hard impacts, my foot is not gonna like it. But of course, we'll have to see on that. That's just how I feel right now for my first impressions. But like I said, the LIGHTSTRIKE here in the heel feels pretty nice. You know, there's a little bit of compression. It feels like there is a little bit of bounce back as well, which I like. As far as the step and comfort goes though, the step and comfort is pretty bad. So the insole, if you guys look at it, we can see D-Rose's signature on the insole, which is pretty cool. But looking at the strobel board, it's pretty damn stiff. You know, it doesn't feel all too nice. And the insole is Adidas's like paper stock insole. It doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't really improve the step and comfort. So yeah, step and comfort is pretty rough, it's pretty stiff, but the overall midsole does feel pretty nice. So that's promising right there. Moving on to the materials. So here in the toe box, we have a patent leather, which looks nice. It's a nice white color, it's shiny. And of course, like all patent leather, it crinkles up. You can see all the creases right when you start wearing it. So that's one thing I hate about patent leather, but it feels nice. And also another thing that is nice about this material is that it doesn't pinch my foot at all. I thought there was gonna be a little bit of pinching at least, especially with like this synthetic suede material. And also here on the lateral side, we have some sprint skin. So sprint skin is basically, there is a little bit of suede, I guess, with these like outer quarters, but inside is like, it's like a curing material almost. It's like a rubbery type of plastic, which is of course super supportive, but it doesn't feel like really stiff at all. You know, it moves pretty well with the motion of your foot, I feel like. So like I said, it feels pretty damn comfortable. It conforms to your foot very, very well. There's no pinching at all. It's not the thinnest material ever, but like I said, it feels pretty cozy. There is a nice lining underneath this patent leather. It feels kind of like a cloth material. So that does definitely make the shoe kind of like cozy, but it'll also probably make the shoe pretty hot. So I really have no issues with the overall materials. For the tongue, we have there's not a whole lot of padding on the tongue, especially here on top of the tongue. It says Adizero Rose here in front of the tongue. And also another thing I don't like about the tongue is that it's an independent tongue. So hopefully it doesn't fold in on itself. That's what independent tongues do usually. But we have a little hole here in front of the tongue where the laces can go through. So that'll definitely help keep the tongue in place so it doesn't move around. If that wasn't there, if you guys have ever played in a shoe, you know what? Most modern shoes have a half booty construction tongue, which definitely, it keeps the tongue in place, right? But older shoes have like an independent tongue, and that's what kind of like makes a tongue go like this when you're playing, and you have to constantly adjust it. But this will definitely help keep the tongue in place. So I'm not super worried about it. And then here in the ankle area, I would say there's an adequate amount of padding. It's not super crazy like the Kyrie 8s or even like the Kyrie 6, but it's nice and cozy, and it feels nice. So for the materials, I'm liking the overall feeling on foot. But for like 150 bucks, the quality definitely isn't the best. I mean, the synthetic material doesn't feel great, and the suede material here on the medial side doesn't feel great as well. So quality, not the best, but it feels pretty damn nice on foot so far. Now moving on to the fit of the shoe, I went true to size and it fits me pretty well. Lengthwise, I would say most people should be good true to size, right? But here in the toe box, there's a little bit of space. Personally for me, I would like it to be a little bit more snug. I can definitely curl my toes up a little bit, but of course, one good thing about like patent leather or like old school materials is that they don't stretch out that much. I mean, like pretty much all materials do stretch out a little bit over time, like after like a couple of months or maybe even like a year of playing in it. But of course, old school materials don't stretch out as much as like mesh or knits, you know? So the fit will probably stay pretty similar throughout the entire lifetime of the shoe. Width-wise, I would say it's around normal width. So if you have a normal size foot and you want like a kind of snug fit, true to size, you should be good. If you have a wide foot or you want a roomier fit, probably just go up half a size. Moving on to the support in lockdown, I mean, it's D Rose. D Rose is super explosive, very quick, very shifty, and he needs a lot of support. And yeah, I mean, here in the D Rose 1.5, we have this. First of all, this material is super supportive. There's no stretch to it, so that'll definitely help. But also, we have the foam acting as a sidewall a little bit here in the forefoot, I guess. And then here in the heel, of course, we have this sprint frame, which is pretty much an external heel counter. So lateral containment, I feel like it's gonna be good. And then lateral stability, it's not the widest shoe actually. There's really no outrigger, and the midsole doesn't protrude out that much. I mean, let's compare it to like the Curry 9. The Curry 9 has a super wide base, as you guys all know. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, holy crap, that's pretty narrow actually. Look at that. It's like a centimeter or two. So that surprises me a little bit, but I don't think lateral stability is going to be a huge deal, just because you're just so low to the ground here for the cushions. So I'm not too worried about that. And of course here, it's a high top shoe, so ankle support feels pretty good as well. Moving on to the weight of the shoe. Feeling it, when I first got it, I was like, yo, this feels really light. I thought it was gonna feel a lot heavier and a lot bulkier, but it actually doesn't. So I'm guessing like 11, 12 ounces actually. Feels pretty light. Oh, so 12.5 ounces. Let's check the left pair, 12.59 ounces. So pretty much 12.5 ounces. That's average weight. And that is pretty surprising just because, you know, you have all this plastic and you have like the old school materials. And I thought it was gonna be like upwards of like 13.5 ounces, but 12.5 ounces is actually pretty damn good. And yeah, it's a very supportive feeling shoe, it feels like so far. And I guess kind of cozy, but also at the same time kind of minimal, just because the court feel is so damn good. and like the material isn't super thick and bulky either. So yeah, I'm liking the overall feeling of the D-Rose 1.5 Restomod so far. Moving on to the aesthetics. I mean, this is a classic shoe. It looks awesome. I love the 3 stripes here in the back and how it kind of like extends here into the outsole. So when you're like running, when you kind of like leave people in the dust, you can see this, you know what I mean? And you know, this colorway with the white patent leather and kind of like the red tongue and the overall like black upper, it's a very contrasting kind of colorway and I love how it looks. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the D-Rose 1.5 Restomod is looking pretty good. And I feel like you can't really Restomod or protro a shoe that much. The only thing you can change is pretty much the cushion. You know what I mean? If you want to keep the aesthetics the same, you can't really change the upper all too much. You can't really change the traction either. So yeah, that's pretty much all companies can do. But if you guys didn't know, Curry's, right? Under Armour is retroing Curry's, but then they're doing like the Curry One like flow cushion. So they have the Curry One upper with like a flow outsole and midsole, which is pretty interesting. And also it's rumored that the Curry 4 is getting the same treatment, which I'm kind of excited about, but also not, because it's not really the Curry 4, right? But anyways, I'm going on a tangent there. The D-Rose 1.5 is feeling pretty damn nice so far, and I feel like it's held up pretty well, especially comparing it to like modern shoes, right? But anyways, I'm super excited playing these. If you guys do want to get it, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.